Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go, this is Valley News Live at 5.
He brutally murdered more than 50 people and wounded hundreds more. It was an act of pure evil.
President Trump responding to the worst mass shooting in U.S. history, calling the attack an act of pure evil. While law enforcement continues to search for any indication as to why Stephen Paddock opened fire on the crowd of more than 22,000 at a country music festival in Las Vegas, we're still finding out more about the man behind the vicious attack and the destruction of his actions. Here's what we know so far. At least 58 people are dead, and estimates are putting the total number of people hurt at more than 500. The shooter is identified as 64-year-old Stephen Paddock. He was found dead in his Mandalay Bay hotel room, where police also found at least 17 guns. Two officials with the investigation say at least 17 guns, again, found in Paddock's hotel room. Family members of the man who killed at least 58 people in Las Vegas say they are dumbfounded. His brother says Stephen Paddock was a multimillionaire real estate investor with no hint of a motive for the massacre. Police are piecing together every shred of information on who he was and what might have fueled his anger. Kenneth Craig reports from Las Vegas.
Law enforcement says Stephen Paddock wasn't even on their radar.
Not at all. We've checked all the federal databases and local databases and state databases, and we had no knowledge of this individual.
Paddock was 64 and lived in a retirement community in Mesquite, Nevada, about 80 miles outside Vegas, and often came to the Strip to gamble. He previously lived in Florida, which is where his brother Eric lives.
We're not that close.
He says the last time they communicated was by text after Hurricane Irma, and that he is shocked and dumbfounded.
He was my brother. He was a guy. He gambled. He was nice to my kids.
Paddock had no children, but he lived with a woman, 62-year-old Mary Lou Danley. A former neighbor says Paddock had an odd sense of humor.
He's a nice guy. I mean, he was kind of quirky, but a nice guy.
Paddock's father was a notorious criminal. He was arrested in a string of bank robberies and ended up on the FBI's most wanted list in the 1960s. Still, Eric Paddock says his brother showed no sign of trouble.
He has no police record. He doesn't even have parking tickets, probably.
Paddock had killed himself before SWAT teams stormed into the room, where they found as many as 10 guns. Asked about a possible motive, the sheriff said at this point he can't get into the mind of a psychopath. Kenneth Craig, CBS News, Las Vegas.
Paddock had no military service. He worked for 3 years in the 1980s for a company now owned by defense giant Lockheed Martin. Flags around the country are flying at half-staff, including right here in Fargo, in tribute to those lives lost in Las Vegas. But the impact of the mass shooting is also being felt right here in the Valley. We're getting reports of several people from our area who were in Las Vegas when the shooting happened. We talked with Randy Seidner of Detroit Lakes, who was at a nearby hotel with his family when the shooting happened, but could hear the music from their room and see the window at the Mandalay Bay Hotel where the shooter was firing at the crowd of more than 22,000 people.
It's very scary and it's just very eerie. I mean, I guess, looking out the window in Vegas at night, there's always a lot of lights and cars, and of course last night, and there was just nothing. There wasn't a single vehicle that was moving, and the only vehicles you saw were cop cars, and so it was very eerie, and it still is. I just did walk downstairs to kind of see what's going on in the hotel, and people are moving around a little bit, but I think people are pretty taken aback by what's happened.
We also talked to a Fargo man who was put on lockdown in his Las Vegas hotel after the shooting. He was there, right there. He is there right now for a USPS national conference at a nearby hotel. When the shots were fired, he was a couple blocks away trying to have a good time with friends.
You knew something went on, but you didn't really know what. And when you got in and saw what actually happened, it was pretty, it's sad. Sad someone would ever even think to do that.
Palmer George said his hotel was put on lockdown until 4 this morning, and a lot of people at his conference just left after the mass shooting late last night. We're also hearing that a North Dakota native was injured in the shooting, a Minot man with ties to UND. Alex Egan is here with more on the former University of North Dakota athlete. Alex?
Andrea, the University of North Dakota confirmed Andrew Goodmanson was injured during the shooting. Athletic Director Brian Faison in a statement said the former baseball and football player was out of surgery, stable and conscious, but there is more surgery ahead. Goodmanson attended North Dakota from 2007 to 2010, where he played quarterback for one season and starred on the baseball team as an infielder. Friends and family members of the Minot native have taken to social media with the hashtag GoodyStrong to show their support. At this time, we do not have an update on his condition other than what has been released from the school. Andrea?
All right, thank you, Alex. We'll continue to monitor his progress, and we'll also be hearing from a Minnesota couple who was at the concert. They'll recount the horrifying experience tonight on Valley News Live at 6. As for the weather, wet and gloomy today, and more rain is on the way. Hutch, who needs to watch out for it?
Well, I'll tell you what, we have a little bit of everything showing up on the radar right now. We dug deep into our color palette and found the snow color off in the mountains and Rockies of Montana, while heavy rain is developing from eastern South Dakota into southern Minnesota. This area, including our southeast counties, has the best chance of heavy rain and even a flood risk as we go through the late night hours. From Fargo, Grand Forks through Baudette, we'll see some passing sprinkles this evening. So your forecast shows we remain cool. South winds, not too bad, 5 to 15 miles per hour. We'll dip into the low 50s by bedtime tonight. Now we'll have hour-by-hour details on when and where the rain hits, as well as an outlook for the rest of the week. It looks like more unsettled weather is heading our way.
All right, thanks, Hutch.
You bet.
The NDSU community is mourning the loss of one of their own. 21-year-old student Ellie Helm crashed into a tree Friday night on an ATV and was killed. Authorities in northern Wisconsin say speed, inexperience in operating an ATV, and alcohol were all contributing factors in the crash. The university says Helm was a sophomore majoring in psychology. She was a member of the Kappa Delta sorority and was a former Bison cheerleader. A passenger on the ATV, Justin Kraus, was also hurt. Both Helm and Kraus are from Fish Creek, Wisconsin. A member of Helm's sorority says a vigil will be held. However, no official date has been set. The trial for the wrongful death of a North Dakota State College of Science student is now moving to Jamestown. The parents of Andrew Sadek are seeking unspecified money damages and sued the Richland County Sheriff's Office, a deputy, and the county after their son was found dead in the Red River with a bullet in his head and a backpack of rocks tied to his body. Court documents show both sides agreed to the change of venue because of concerns over getting an impartial jury. The trial is set to begin next April. Vandals have struck again. Nativity Elementary School is once again dealing with broken windows. The last time the school faced vandalism, the repair cost came to over $100,000. Valley News Team's Melanie Palmer visited the school and has the details behind the latest round of vandalism.
It was just 3 months ago when Nativity Elementary School faced a hefty cleanup. And now this.
We were quite disheartened this morning to have employees arrive and discover two classroom sets of windows in the school, again damaged.
It was not only the school windows damaged, but also broken windows were found in the church's atrium. The last time the school was vandalized, the damage was extensive, but this round is expected to be slightly less considerable.
We were happy to find that the double pane windows did hold up and the outside pane came through, but not the inside, so the classes weren't impacted with glass.
Although the damage is less impactful, the cost is still expected to be significant.
It's hard to estimate at this point, this round, but it's going to be in 5 figures, probably well over $10,000.
Investigators believe the vandalism occurred Sunday night, but wasn't noticed until this morning. School officials are trying to figure out what to do.
We're a joint operation with both church and school together on this same site, so we'll be talking together about what we can do to prevent.
It remains unknown why the vandalism is happening. Motives are still being questioned.
We keep everything locked, of course, during the day, but to have our windows vandalized again, it's hard to handle. It's hard to think about why.
The first order of business is getting the windows fixed, an all too familiar process for Nativity Elementary School. In Fargo, Melanie Palmer, Valley News Live.
The Fargo Police Department is investigating the incident. All the windows are custom made, so it may take some time to repair them all.